Hi everyone, this is Jen Lee with Jen Lee Law, and this week's blog post is titled, Couldn't Resist, More Bad Information About Bankruptcy. So last week's post talked about two recent articles that were really wrong about how bankruptcy works. Because there were so many things wrong with that first one, I didn't even get a chance to go through the second article. So this week I'm taking the opportunity to go through that second article because I think bad information on the internet leads to so many people making decisions that are detrimental to their long-term financial future. So here we go. First of all, the title of this article is Chapter 11 versus Chapter 7 Bankruptcy, What to Know. But then the article discusses Chapter 11, Chapter 7, and Chapter 13. The biggest issue with the whole thing is that these chapters are used for very different situations. It's not like you walk into an attorney's office and you just pick a chapter to file. Your financial goals and situation generally determine which route you need to go down and why. So let's go through the article, and I pulled out again exact quotes from the article and what's wrong with them. So let's get down to the dirty details. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is a form of bankruptcy that exists to allow businesses and corporations to follow a plan to rehabilitate or reorganize their debts so that they can remain in operation while repaying their debt. It's partly true. Businesses and corporations are eligible to file for Chapter 11, but you don't have to be a business or corporation to file for Chapter 11. Individuals can file for Chapter 11 and do all the time. The second point, bankruptcy shouldn't affect your personal credit score. If you file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy as a corporation or business, it shouldn't affect your personal credit score. Be very careful with this. A lot of banks and lenders require the business owner to personally guarantee credit cards, loans, lines of credits, and leases. So filing bankruptcy for a corporation can actually affect your personal credit score. Number 3, it stays on your credit report for 10 years. This can be especially discouraging if you file as an individual, since your score may be hit pretty hard. Oh, for the love of Pete. Yes, bankruptcy stays on your credit report as a public record for 10 years. It does not affect your credit score for 10 years, and many people with low credit scores actually experience their credit score going up immediately upon filing for bankruptcy. With proper rebuilding strategies, you can have a 700 credit score a year after bankruptcy. Number 4, people who qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy typically earn lower incomes and can't repay their debts. To qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you must be earning less than your state's median income for a family or household of your size. This is just wrong. One way to qualify for Chapter 7 is to be below the median income for your household size. However, I can't remember the last time I had a client who actually was below median income in my area. You can still qualify for Chapter 7, but it's really important to have a professional run the means test to determine your eligibility. Also, there are certain categories of debts that make the means test not even apply. For example, if 51% of your debts are non-consumer debts, which can be taxes, business loans, things like that, the means test doesn't even apply to your situation and your income is not even used to determine your eligibility. Number 5, income status requirements. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is limited to those with low income and minimal assets. See number 4? There are often ways to qualify for Chapter 7 without being low income, and assets have absolutely nothing to do with your eligibility to file for Chapter 7. Number 6, stays on your credit report for up to 10 years. Because of this, filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy may make it difficult for you to get credit or insurance, and may even make it challenging to be hired for a new job or get approved to rent a new apartment. Please talk to a professional in your state. In California, your credit score isn't used in insurance unless it's to make your premium lower. Credit score can only be used to decrease, not increase or deny insurance. Also, in California, credit scores in bankruptcy can only be used in very specific situations for hiring. I have lots and lots of clients who get new apartments or buy houses during and after bankruptcy. It sometimes takes a bit more searching and explanation, but any smart landlord prefers someone who filed bankruptcy than someone with 20 collection accounts on their credit report. Number 7, Chapter 13. In many cases, you'll pay off most of your debt with monthly payments over the course of 3 to 5 years, after which time the rest of your debt is discharged. So this is one of the biggest myths about Chapter 13. You don't pay off most of your debt necessarily. You do make payments for 3 to 5 years, but often we are paying back mortgage arrears, taxes, and child support for those 3 to 5 years. Well, the credit cards and collection accounts get very little and are still discharged at the end, just like in a Chapter 7. Number 8, most individuals or businesses qualify for Chapter 13. Businesses that are corporations do not qualify for Chapter 13. There are 2 requirements in order to qualify for Chapter 13. The first one, you have to be an individual and you have to have regular income. You can be a sole proprietor of a business and be in Chapter 13, but if you are the owner of a corporation, the corporation cannot file Chapter 13. Quite often, the business owner took on a bunch of personal debt for the corporation, and we file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to reorganize those debts, but the bankruptcy is filed for the individual, not the business. And number 9, if you have been discharged from Chapter 13 or another type of bankruptcy within the last 2 to 4 years, you may not qualify to file. Where do I start with this one? The waiting times between bankruptcies are from filing date to filing date. Your discharge date has nothing to do with the waiting times. The longest wait is 8 years, and the shortest is 2 years. Please have a professional tell you what your eligibility is based on your individual situation. Overall, please know your rights and options. Please have a professional look at your situation, and please do not assume that anything you've read on the internet was correct, especially because a lot of these issues depend on the state you live in. I did link to the article at the bottom of this blog post. I'm Jen Lee with Jen Lee Law.